You know, if you've been online at all recently, chances are you've seen it. This video of a single penguin splitting off from its colony, turning its back on the ocean, and just marching all alone into this vast, empty wasteland of ice and mountains. It's a really haunting image, and it's left millions of us asking one simple, heartbreaking question.
So in this explainer, we're going to try to figure that out. We're going to dive into the science, the psychology, and the just plain brutal reality of what it's like to be a penguin, to understand what could possibly lead to this final lonely march. So where did this all even come from? All right, first things first, let's get our bearings. The clip itself, it's not actually new, even though it feels like it just popped up everywhere. It was actually captured almost 2 decades ago by the legendary German filmmaker Werner Herzog. He was down in Antarctica, filming the lives of scientists and, of course, the continent's most famous residents. But then, one of those residents did something that nobody, not even a veteran filmmaker like Herzog, could have ever seen coming. This is our star, an Adelie penguin. And its choice of direction is just baffling. It's walking away from the sea, the only source of food out there, and heading straight towards 7,000 kilometers of barren mountains. That is a guaranteed death sentence. So what on earth would make it do that? To even begin to get it, we have to understand the world it comes from. So let's ask the big question. Why would any animal choose to live in the coldest, windiest, most hostile place on planet Earth? Well, the answer really comes down to this fundamental trade-off that defines every single day of a penguin's life. It all boils down to this. On land, you've got safety. There are no predators there to snatch you or your eggs. But it's brutally cold, and there is zero food. In the sea, it's the exact opposite. It's teeming with fish and krill, all the food they could want. But it's also patrolled by deadly predators like leopard seals. So penguins have to endure the deadly cold of the land just to raise their young in safety, all while making these super dangerous commutes into the sea just to eat. But here's the thing. Not all penguins handle this harsh reality the same way. And to really get our lone wanderer, it helps to meet 2 very, very different members of the penguin family. You could call them 2 extremes. First up, we have the undisputed champion of endurance and sacrifice, the magnificent emperor penguin. The life of an emperor penguin father is just an unbelievable ordeal. First, he walks 100 kilometers inland without a single bite to eat. Then, after the female lays their one precious egg, she hands it off to him and immediately heads back to the ocean to feed. For the next 2 months, through insane blizzards and temperatures of minus 60 degrees Celsius, he just stands there, perfectly still, balancing that egg on his feet to keep it from freezing. By the time the mom gets back, he's been fasting for 4 straight months and has lost over half of his body weight. It's an act of sacrifice that is almost impossible to wrap your head around, all for the next generation. Yeah, it's no wonder this feat has earned them the title of the world's best dad. Okay, so that's the emperor. Now let's meet the species from our viral video, the Adelie penguin. And if the emperor is the martyr, the Adelie is, well, it's the clever little thief. Adelies are a world away from those solemn emperors. They're hyperactive, they're clever, and they're seriously mischievous. See, to build a nest on the frozen ground, they need stones. And for an Adelie, stones are everything. The better the nest, the better the mate you attract. But stones are super rare, which turns all the males into these master thieves. They're constantly sneaking around, stealing from their neighbors' nests. A single stolen stone can literally start a vicious, day-long fight. These are highly social, cunning, and resourceful birds. So, we have the selfless martyr and the clever thief. And this contrast, believe it or not, is the key to finally understanding what we're seeing in that video. It all comes back to that one question. And here we are, back at the heart of the mystery. Why would an animal that's so focused on social status, so clever at building its future, suddenly just abandon its colony, its mate, its entire life, to walk towards absolutely nothing? Scientists who've studied this rare phenomenon actually have a name for it: a psychotic breakdown. Now, I know that sounds incredibly dramatic, but in this context, it's a real scientific term for a catastrophic internal failure. You see, a penguin's brain has one of the most sophisticated navigation systems in nature. Seriously, think of it like a built-in GPS that uses the sun, the stars, the smell of the ocean, and even the Earth's magnetic field to guide it perfectly over hundreds and hundreds of kilometers. But just like any complex piece of technology, sometimes it can glitch.
it can break down. So, what could possibly cause such a catastrophic system failure?
Well, scientists think there could be a few different triggers. It could be something physical, like a brain infection or a parasite, or it could be environmental, something brought on by extreme stress or starvation. But whatever the cause, the result is the same. The penguin's internal GPS malfunctions. Its brain locks onto a new fatal path, and it ignores all the other signals, its friends, the sea, that are telling it to turn back.
The scientific explanation, it makes a lot of sense. It's logical, it's rational, and it's probably correct. But it doesn't quite capture why this video feels so profoundly human, does it? Why it connects with millions of us on such a deep emotional level.
And that leads us to another theory, one that science can't really measure, but that many of us feel instinctively when we watch that clip. Could the cause be something more like a broken heart? Could it be grief?
And that's a totally valid question, because we've actually documented that when a penguin chick dies, its parents mourn. They'll stand over the little body, making these sad, desolate calls, and sometimes, in what looks like just an act of pure desperation, they'll even try to kidnap another penguin's chick. We know they feel loss, and they feel it deeply.
Now, so many people who see the video ask, why didn't the film crew just stop it? Just turn it around? And the answer is that there are incredibly strict laws in Antarctica that forbid any human interference with the wildlife. They are bound to be observers, not saviors. All they could do was watch as that small figure slowly vanished into the white.
So, was it a neurological glitch, or was it an animal completely overcome by loss? In the end, we're probably never going to know for sure. All we have is what Werner Herzog captured on film, the unforgettable image of, in his own words, a lost traveler who left everything and set out for an unknown destination.